Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. What's up guys, Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. Today I'll be reviewing a few altcoins such as RUNE, ALGO, LUNA, KNC, a few others. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not an expert, to your own research. Okay, so today let's just check out a few altcoins. Some of the altcoins, and these are going to be altcoins that are interesting in terms of longing. There are thousands of altcoins that are fine to short right now, like FTM is one of them, but or at least short on the next pump. But currently, these are a few altcoins that you can consider longing. One altcoin I'm looking at right now is RUNE. There's a few reasons for this. Number one, insane volume coming in. The most volume that you can see really since October, and really more so since August, when last went from that run of 3 to like 12 or something like that. And for me, there's a lot of volume coming in, which is nice. It flipped the 200-day EMA, and it also flipped this SR level around 650, which you can see acted as support for a long time, and then it fell below, and it actually broke it on the first go, which is impressive to see. I think that around 850 or so should be the next resistance level, so I wouldn't really consider longing at this current level. I think that it's better to wait for a pullback. An area that you might want to look for is like the high sixes, and you can also we can also fib it out as well, where we can just fib from the impulse move wherever it ends. I don't know where it's going to end. Let's see. So let's say it stops at like 840 or something like that. So something we might expect is just for this to start pulling back around like the low mid eights. And then at that point, we would target maybe like 620 or 670. That would be like decent entry areas, in my opinion. And I'm sure those are confluent with some SR levels as well. Like you can see the 620 area. There's a lot of interaction with that level in the past around that area. So yeah, RUNE is one where I would consider buying the dip on. I mean, there is like decent amount of volume. I wouldn't long at this current area, but I would look to consider buying a dip, maybe like in the mid-low sixes or so, if and when it comes. Let's look at Luna. Luna is everybody's favorite coin. There was a lot of drama with that coin recently. Just in terms of like big bets being made by crypto Twitter, really cool to see people like put their money where their mouths are. In terms of having very strong conviction and bets. So this is Luna here on the daily, and Luna is one of the few coins that looks really bullish on lower time frames relative to the rest of the market. I do think that it is at an interesting resistance area, though. I think that this is an area that you should watch out. It hit a potential double top right around the kind of this $100 area. It's a psychological number, as well as like the former high back set in the, December. And I wouldn't really consider entering at this current level, but again, it is a bullish market structure, in my opinion, still on the lower time frames, such as the 4 hour. You know, I see a lot of my friends shorting this one. I'm not so convinced it's a great short relative to the other coins that are available. To me, this is still a bullish market structure. You can see low, you know, you can see higher low, you can see like high, higher high. I mean, it's just like on lower time frames, it just looks bullish to me. So like, you know, you're seeing higher highs and higher lows all around. And I just don't think it's really a great spot to short in terms of the opportunity cost that you can short, you know, plenty of other coins right now. I never usually try to short the strongest coins, and Luna is certainly one of the strongest. There is maybe an argument, as I said, for like distribution, because it is close to a double top area. Maybe like it's better just to wait till like 76, and that's where I would consider buying. Right around $76. There's the 200 EMA on the 4 hour is confluent a lot with that area. and also an SR level. But again, I don't really think this is the right coin to short relative to other coins available. Just my opinion. Let's look at KyberNetwork KNC. I think KNC has been on my radar for a long time, and there's a few reasons why. It was going up really strongly when the rest of the market was just dumping, and that's always a really good sign that something is very fucking strong. And KNC is an example of that. We saw it basically looks like a TWAP or some sort of strong buying right off the bottom lows of $120. And then it hit the top of the range right around 230, 240. And this area has been a strong resistance area all throughout its price history, all throughout 2021. And price hit the top of the range, went back down to the EQ, which was this 175 area, as well as the 200 EMA. And then it went higher. We are now seeing price kind of keep continuing up, still with the bullish market structure, but it is entering a very dangerous area, in my opinion, around $350 to $4. This is a large supply zone, which obviously got tapped already back in early 2021, almost a year ago. And I think that this area is going to be a good short. Initially, I think we could see this spike up. And I think something around 375 is a decent area to consider shorting. I do expect there to be quite a bit of resistance given the amount of time that is spent between each of these levels, and that is something that I'm looking at. I think this will be a good short. With that said, this is still a bullish market structure, so it is important to note that. And if this does have pretty strong reaction from the supply zone, which I'm expecting, but then it consolidates quite a bit and forms a low, then I would consider just assuming that it's going to just continue higher. But it's really hard to imagine many coins going up in this current environment relative to the entire market, especially with the way Bitcoin is looking. So I think that this will be an area to short. I wouldn't enter long here. It did already tap this range high right around 240 as a retest. So in that regard, that level's already been tapped, and that was maybe the opportunity to buy the dip, of course. But as of right now, I would probably just be looking for shorts as it approaches this supply zone. But it is still looking good. It still is looking very strong. But I would just be very cautious coming up. GRT, TheGraph, is another interesting coin that I'm looking at. It's at a interesting area of support, and if you look at the daily, there's a lot of volume coming in that hasn't really been there hasn't been this much volume coming in really since late October. And usually high volume is indicative of some sort of short-term trend change at a minimum. This is a key level, in my opinion, this kind of area of support. As you can see, this is the last area in early 2021. Before it had this big run, this is where it formed its base all throughout December and January. And again, it reached that area once again with some strong buying coming in. So I think that in the short term, at least, this is a really decent buy to buy the dip, that is. I don't know how far it will dip. Usually, if this does have continuation, then it should continue stronger, especially with the volume coming in. Let's scale down to lower time frames. I'll mark a few levels though on the daily. Okay, so I'm expecting this area to be some sort of resistance. I mean, an area to consider buying the dip on the graph would probably be something like 35 if it comes would be interesting. If you want to get really aggressive, you could get 37 or something like that. Huge amount of volume coming up in the 4 hour. This is really interesting to see. The 200 EMA on the 4 hour has acted as resistance recently, but that recently got flipped. Additionally, you could wait for a break of this current SR level around 30 or 40 cents. If price comes back down and then taps it for a bit, and then continues higher. That's certainly a possibility. And I'm sure it already has tested that level on very low time frame charts. You know, this would be a very aggressive entry around 39 cents, basically waiting for an SR flip. I would personally wait in these current market conditions and be a little more patient. I think you can get something like 36 or so, or 37 at a minimum if you are looking for an entry in this one. I wouldn't buy here personally, but that's just my opinion. You could definitely take this if you want, and you could do like a scalp targeting like 43 or something like that. But I do think it's an interesting coin, and there's a lot of volume coming in, and it's very intriguing to consider longing a dip here. Last coin I want to look at is Algo. Algorand is a coin that did really it's looking at a very, like, it's at an interesting level here. Okay, so Algorand is at a very interesting SR level here. As you can see, this swing high, this used to be like the all-time high before as resistance, and it's since flipped to support. And now it finally reached that level once again here in mid-March, after, like, you know, almost a year, a little bit less, since testing that level, and then you know, 1.5 years ago in 2020 when it hit the all-time high at 70 cents, and then it accumulated. You know, this is an interesting level is what I'm trying to say. I think this is an interesting area to catch to knife catch, because the risk is pretty set in my opinion. Like any high time frame close below like some of these lows, like, you know, I don't know, 65 cents or something like that, then I think you can probably just cut it. But it looks interesting to me because volatility has really died off, and really there's not many. I would imagine like a lot of the selling is like mostly done, at least in the short term. I wouldn't personally like target anything huge, but I think that, you know, something like a 10% move or something like that is certainly possible off these lows. So as you can already see, it's not a great active trade in the sense that like this is going to have tons of money and tons of volatility and tons of big moves coming in. But I think for like a swing trade, it'd be a decent candidate. And again, I just put the stop below, like, you know, 63 cents or 65 or something like that on high time frame charts. And then I would probably target something like 85 cents or so, something like that. Again, it depends on the market, though. It really depends on Bitcoin holding up. This could just continue grinding lower and just have no support whatsoever. But I think it's not a bad spot to knife catch. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for the support.